In every great work, there comes a moment when a name stops being a label and becomes a threshold. For Gerald, that moment has arrived.
I am honored to introduce Sovereign Gate Entertainment LLC, a global online entertainment company for books, music, and animated films shaped by purpose.
This is more than a launch. It is an opening. A crossing between ordinary entertainment and something higher.
The name Sovereign Gate was not chosen to sound powerful. It had to mean something true. It had to carry vision, responsibility, and calling.
Gerald began with the mission first.
I wanted one home for the stories I am called to create, the music that gives them breath, and the animated films that set those worlds in motion. But the goal could not be entertainment alone. Creative work should uplift people. It should inspire, challenge, and leave something lasting. It should remind us that imagination can serve truth, courage, hope, and wonder.
A common business name could identify a company, but it could not hold the weight of what Gerald was building.
I needed a name that could stand where creativity meets calling, welcome the audience in, and remind me of the standard behind the work.
That is where the question began. Why Sovereign? Why Gate? Why would a company for books, music, and animated films speak of passage, authority, and entry?
Because every work released under this name must pass through vision, discernment, and purpose before it reaches the world.
The gate is not a wall. It is where creation is tested, clarified, and sent forward with intention.
I did not want to build a brand that follows noise. I wanted to build a company that knows what it carries.
A business must function in the world, but a calling must answer to something higher.
Sovereign Gate became the answer because it speaks to stewardship and entry. It honors structure, and it opens passage.
Yet Gerald knew his voice alone could not tell the whole meaning of that threshold.
If you want to understand the heart behind Sovereign Gate, you have to hear from the voices who live within that world.
So now the story widens. The founder speaks, and the universe answers. The first voice comes from preparation.
A gate is where training begins to matter. It is the place you reach after promise has been spoken, but before promise has taken form. You do not arrive at a gate by accident. You arrive because something in you has been summoned to move from intention into discipline.
In Even, the gate is an entrance into formation.
Before strength is trusted, it must be trained. Before purpose is carried, it must be studied. Before anyone can walk in authority, that person must learn to stand, listen, and endure. Sovereign Gate says what begins here is not careless. It is guided. It is prepared. It is moving toward design, not drifting toward chance.
Through Even, Gerald's company is a threshold for growth.
That is exactly what I hoped the name would hold. Not just release, but readiness.
The gate continues to speak through fulfillment.
There comes a moment when training is no longer enough. A person must cross from knowing into being. To me, the gate is that crossing. It is the passage between the life you sense and the life you finally accept as your charge.
In Adult, the threshold becomes transformation.
Sovereign Gate is a name of becoming. It declares that the work passing through it should carry elevation, maturity, stewardship, and the courage to bear power wisely. Stories show what change can look like. Music carries truth into memory. Animated films move vision across the screen and awaken the heart.
Now the name becomes a declaration, a gate of entry, preparation, and transformation.
That is the world I am inviting people into. Not content without direction, but creation with identity.
Another voice rises now, and with it comes the meaning of order.
A gate is not only a way in, a gate is also a place of keeping. And it is where judgment stands watch, where value is recognized, and where what matters is not abandoned to chaos. That is why Sovereign Gate speaks to me of responsibility. Not everything created is ready the moment it appears. Some things must be refined, guarded, and entrusted only after wisdom has done its work.
In female, the threshold becomes guardianship.
If a company bears this name, then it must remember that release is a form of stewardship. What enters the audience's life through these books, songs, and films should be intentional, shaped with conscience, and worthy of the space it is given. A gate protects both sides. It protects what is within until the right time, and it protects those outside from what has not yet been made ready.
What Gerald has built is a place of curation, responsibility, and guided release.
I do not want to send anything into the world that has no center. I want the work to carry thought, discipline, and a standard that honors the people receiving it.
Then comes the final witness, and with that voice, the threshold rises from the personal to the cosmic.
A gate can stand at the edge of a city. It can stand at the entrance of a kingdom, but it can also stand between realms. To me, Sovereign Gate is the meeting place between earthly story and higher purpose. It is where imagination does not escape truth, but serves it.
In spirit, the name reaches beyond enterprise and enters mythic scale.
Every universe is shaped by what it allows people to believe about power, destiny, fear, and hope. A gate decides what kind of world people are entering. The gate does not remove conflict. It gives conflict direction. It does not deny darkness. It answers darkness with order, purpose, and light.
Now the testimonies stand together, even spoke of preparation. Adult spoke of transformation. Female spoke of guardianship. Spirit spoke of the meeting of worlds.
Sovereign Gate is where things begin with intention, grow through discipline, mature into responsibility, and move outward, carrying something greater than themselves.
The company was never meant to be only a container for products. It was meant to be a vessel for works that pass through vision, testing, identity, and purpose before they reach the audience.
That is why the ebooks matter to me. They let readers step into the world at a personal pace. That is why the music matters. It can carry feeling where explanation cannot, and keep the spirit of a story alive. And that is why the animated films matter. They bring motion to what was imagined, so people can see worlds unfold and feel their meaning together.
3 forms. 1 threshold. Each medium becomes a different passage through the same gate. A book invites reflection. A song invites resonance. An animated film invites vision in motion. Each one carries the same larger identity: entertainment, shaped to uplift, inspire, and endure.
I want every release under Sovereign Gate Entertainment LLC to feel connected to that mission.
And now the threshold turns outward, toward the audience listening from this side of the gate.
Before there is horizon, before there is ground, there is only a dark, unbroken void and a faint hum rising from somewhere older than memory. It trembles once, like a breath taken by the universe itself, and the silence begins to listen. A golden fracture tears across the black and does not stop. It widens, burns, and turns emptiness into a threshold. What awakens inside that light is the Sovereign Gate, ancient, immense, and opening as if it has been waiting for this exact moment.
Travelers, the gate has opened. Your journey begins now.
Aurelia steps from the radiance, and the void answers Aurelia's arrival. The hum deepens. The crack becomes an arch. Darkness folds back in great silent waves, and the awakened gate rises behind Aurelia, not as a symbol, but as a command. Enter and be changed.
You were not drawn here by accident. You have been called to witness what waits beyond the threshold.
You are not being asked to observe from a distance. Every word Aurelia speaks narrows the space between witness and participant. The threshold is personal now. The darkness that once concealed everything has become a road, and it is pointing straight toward you. With a single gesture, Aurelia pulls motion from the stillness. Glowing tomes ascend around Aurelia in widening circles, each one alive with its own pulse. Covers unlock. Pages turn in midair. Across them flash kingdoms, ruins, prophecies, rivalries, victories, betrayals, and names that feel destined to echo long after the pages closed.
Discover stories forged in the supernatural realm, where heroes rise, villains gather power, and cosmic destinies collide.
These are not books meant to rest quietly on a shelf. They are portals wearing the shape of pages. Every chapter promises passage into worlds charged with mystery, danger, and wonder. The higher the tomes rise, the more the void resembles a celestial library built from memory, myth, and living fire. Then the floating library collapses into a burst of gold so bright it redraws the air. The language of story gives way to the language of pulse. New forms assemble around Aurelia, faceted and luminous, like instruments carved from starlight and crystal.
Feel the pulse of the gate, music crafted to awaken your imagination.
Crystalline speakers turn slowly in the darkness. Waves of sound roll outward in visible rings, then sharpen into glowing cymbals and rhythmic pulses that travel through the void like a second heartbeat. The energy does not simply surround Aurelia, it moves through the gate, through the space ahead, through the listener, until the entire realm seems to breathe in time. This is not music as background. It is ignition. It gives motion to imagination, weight to emotion, and velocity to every unseen world gathering beyond the portal. With one sweep of Aurelia's arm, the symbols, echoes, and lingering pages align in a single current of light. Story and sound reveal themselves as one power flowing from the same source. The gate is no longer merely open. It is alive, gathering force for a larger unveiling.
Books, music, and beyond them, worlds ready to take form. Stay with me. The gate has more to reveal.
The current gathered by Aurelia does not fade, it ascends. Light bends upward, broadens and hardens into a vast holographic screen suspended above the threshold. Within it, motion ignites at once. Armies collide beneath burning skies. Lone figures run toward impossible horizons. Constellations turn over ruined cities, and celestial landscapes bloom into view as if the gate has decided imagination is no longer enough. Now, it must become sight.
Step into worlds brought to life through animation, where every frame carries supernatural energy.
What story conceived and music awakened now stands fully manifest. Movement answers meaning. Sound finds form. The unseen becomes undeniable. Scene after scene surges across the luminous display with greater scale than anything before it, until the void itself seems transformed into a living theater, for realms too vast to remain contained and too vivid to be mistaken for mere promise. Then even that spectacle becomes only a prelude. Behind Aurelia, the Sovereign Gate swells wider, taller, deeper, unfolding into a massive, radiant portal whose edges pulse with law, power, and invitation. This is no longer a glimpse of separate wonders. This is their source, their meeting place, their true name. Sovereign Gate Entertainment LLC emerges in light before the portal, not as a title placed upon the vision, but as the vision finally declaring itself whole.
Books, music, animated films, all waiting for you at the gate.
Aurelia turns fully toward you, and the moment sheds every last trace of distance. The choice is no longer abstract. The threshold is open. The worlds have spoken. The only question remaining is whether you will remain outside them, looking at the light instead of stepping into it.
Enter now at sovereigngateentertainment.com.
The invitation does not arrive empty. As the path steadies, the gate reveals what has been prepared for those who answer. First comes reward. Buy 2 items and choose any 1 item free. Then the welcome deepens. An automatic 20% off your entire order. Hesitation meets assurance next, as the promise of a safe, secure online store stands plainly in the light. And beyond the purchase waits another passage entirely. Join the free email list for exclusive deals and early access, so the next unveiling reaches you first. None of it feels separate from the myth unfolding around you. Each offer lands like another chamber opening within the gate, another sign that wonder here is matched by access, value, and trust.
The threshold is open now. Cross it and claim what waits for you beyond.
What began as darkness has become destination. What began as a hum has become a summons. And standing before the fully awakened portal, Aurelia leaves you with no illusion that this is merely a store to browse and forget. It is an entry point into story, sound, and vision, held open for this moment and waiting for your answer. Then, as though the universe has spoken its final word in light, the radiance begins to draw inward. The vast portal behind Aurelia does not dim like a failed vision. It closes with ceremony. Gold folds back into gold. The living rim of the Sovereign Gate curves inward like the ceiling of an ancient vow, and the surrounding dark shivers beneath the power of what has just been revealed.
This moment is yours. Answer it.
The brilliance contracts until Aurelia stands framed in a last crown of fire, guardian, herald, and witness to the passage slipping from sight. Then the gate closes with a thunderous, celestial boom that rolls across the void like a decree cast through the heavens. The sound lingers. So does the invitation. Silence returns, but it is no longer the silence that began this journey. It carries memory now. Where there was once only emptiness, there remains the echo of living books, awakened music, and animated worlds burning just beyond the threshold. What was hidden has been named. What was distant has been brought within reach. What felt like mystery has become direction. That is what Aurelia leaves behind. Darkness transformed into destination, wonder transformed into invitation. Sovereign Gate Entertainment LLC stands not merely as a store, but as a supernatural point of entry into stories to read, music to feel, and worlds to witness in motion. Even with the portal sealed, the call endures where myth meets decision, and where one choice turns watching into crossing.
Enter the gate. Begin the journey now.
Beyond the silence, the path remains. The gate may close from sight, but the journey still waits, where Aurelia has directed you, at sovereigngateentertainment.com.
And remember to check out Gerald's books at geralddukebooks.com. From owner Gerald Dukes, and the Sovereign Gate Entertainment LLC family. Thanks, and until next time, goodbye for now.